This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. They're the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website. If you can use Facebook, you can create a website on Squarespace. I built the IceTFinalLevel.com and the PBHgear.com on Squarespace, and you should use them too. Start with a free trial at squarespace.com with no credit card required. When you're ready to purchase a plan, get 10% off with the offer code ICE. That's squarespace.com, offer code ICE. This episode is brought to you by Audible. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but my Dungeons & Dragons audiobook is out now, free on audible.com. It's called The Legend of Drizzt, spelled D-R-I-Z-Z-T. Audible is the world's leading provider in audiobooks with over 150,000 titles to choose from. And you get one free just by going to audible.com/iced. That's right. You get a free audiobook and a free 30-day trial at audible.com/ICET just for listening to this show. Real readers get their audiobooks from Audible.
Upon initial contact with Ice-T's music, I had envisioned him to be an ill-mannered and psychologically unstable man with an extremely uneducated and barbaric frame of mind, whose raps displayed nothing but ridiculous jargon, shocking sexual audacity, and repulsive images of the ghetto. However, after further analysis of his music, I can deduce that he is the epitome of anti-disestablishment terrorism, who embodies the entire spectrum of the urban experience and struggle. But to make things more plain and simple to the layman, I find Ice-T to be the dopest, flyest, OG pimp, hustler, gangster player, hardcore motherfucker living today. To be honest, I am totally and completely on his dick.
Welcome to the Ice-T Final Level Podcast, featuring your co-host, Mick Benzo, and your host,
Ice-T.
Okay, what's up, people out there? This is the Final Level Podcast number 16 with Ice-T and my incredible player buddy and co-host, Mick Benzo.
You know, we ain't been around for a minute, man.
I mean, people have been going crazy, getting mad at us, saying, our podcast is flaky because we missed a week or whatever. Yeah. We've been on the road. Now, those of y'all that have been following us, we've been out. We've been gigging all summer. We've been meeting the people, and we've been doing what we were supposed to do, and we actually did get 2 podcasts live off the Mayhem Fest.
Yeah, we did one with Korn. We did Axon Alexander, Burning...
Upon a Burning Body.
Upon a Burning Body. That was pretty cool, too.
It was definitely dope, and, that's what this thing is about. It's about letting you guys hear, just how people are, maybe not in front of, a news broadcaster or something, just catching the homies live, catching the people I work with live and having some fun. So due to the fact when we got home, there's so much drama in the news. The world seems to be in extreme turmoil right now. Everyone's familiar with the Ferguson situation. It's crazy right now. Then you got this whole ISIS situation.
Wow.
You've got all the stuff that's happened in the Ukraine. I mean, the world, right, in the Ukraine, the world is crazy. Missing jets, missing people, planes getting shot out of the air. You know what I'm saying, Mick? I mean,
it's unbelievable.
You can't laugh about it, but it's just wow.
It's a global thing that's going on right now. It's just not self-contained. It's all over now. This is what's so bad about it. It's terrible.
And
man.
The wild thing is, when things like this happen, people turn to people that have known to be outspoken. They know Ice Cube is outspoken. They know KRS. They know Chuck. Talib Kweli. He's out there right now in Ferguson. Lots of people are known for speaking, including myself, and people are just looking for answers. But I always say, the people have the answers, and even though we're in a way spokespeople, I'm not a genius. I just have my opinion, and that's really all it is, And like my thing is, we need 20-year-old leaders. We need 19-year-old leaders. We need, because when we were kicking up dust really heavy, we was in our 20s. We was the youngsters, you know. And
we need the youth. Youth's voice is what we need.
That's what
now.
we need badly.
Yeah.
Because that's what the youth listen to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm as old as they fathers. You know, my baby old as they father's father.
Right.
You dig?
Right.
So my voice doesn't move the people like it did back in the day. And my job is not only to speak, but to inspire. When we started speaking about this stuff, you know, it seems so foreign to other people. But when you live in the neighborhood, when I started rapping, I'm living in the hood. I'm hitting the corners every day. And this is just the way the cops behaved. You know, if they could, they jack you and they forget your rights. You're poor and you ain't got no money. And therefore, you can't really fight us. Mm-hmm. You know, now, I spoke out about it, and of course, you know, the mainstream white America, they like, well, this doesn't happen. But it does.
It happens every day,
It still does happen. Yeah. And when you see it on videotape and you finally see it, it's shocking. People are like, wow. Yeah. But I'm like, I'm used to that. I grew up in that. So it's a sad thing that right now, you know, America has changed tremendously. You know, we got a black president. That couldn't happen 30 years ago.
No.
The world has changed. People are kind of tired of this racism, but the shit is just, it's power. It's out of control. And, you know, I play a cop on TV. And even on our show, we got a power thing. You know, you can answer my questions. You know, we're gonna make you do what we want you to do. It's not even so much the law. It's just power.
Well, that's why I can't agree with the police cars that ride around. And when you see a police car, you see CPR.
What's that stand for?
That's supposed to stand for courtesy, professionalism, and respect. They don't have any of that. That needs to come off of their vehicles immediately. No more. Y'all don't have any CPR. Y'all have scare tactics, and that's what's so bad about it. You know.
You know, and then the racism thing, which I've been so against my entire career. I don't believe it's right. It's wrong. It's crazy. But you got to really get to the base of the United States. Okay, so you got a country that basically was founded. You know, people come over here, basically jack the Indians, you know, took it. Okay.
True.
Then they did some foul shit. No one can deny this country was based on and founded on some foul shit. It was so foul that when motherfuckers wanted to release the slaves, they went to war. Like, you know, like just saying like, okay, ready, let's say, no, we're going to go to war about it. We had a civil war over that.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're trying to grow out of it. Now, my thing is I've never held a kid accountable for that bullshit. I can't hold you accountable for anything you had nothing to do with. How can I? I mean, you didn't have shit to do with it, you know? It's kind of like when you get with your girl, you got to tell her, you can't hold me accountable for anything that happened prior to this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't around.
Exactly.
You know? So how do I hold a kid that I see in the street accountable for any of the bullshit of the past? I don't. But everyone has to understand that this country was founded on some very foul shit. Very foul shit. Now, there are people in this country that feel like, okay, well, if you're, I hate to say it, but if you're not white, if you're not part of the people who created this country or jacked it, you're a visitor here. This is our country. And, you know, black people, you're lucky you got rights.
Sad to say.
You're lucky, you know, and it's fucked up. But it's fucked up to the core. It's not. It's very fucked up.
It starts at the roots, man.
And it starts at the root.
And it has grown.
I believe that you can never eliminate racism, but you can shut it down, and that's by people just talking and realizing this shit's foul. You got to realize that shit's foul, and you got to realize nobody is better than anybody. No one is. We're all human beings. There's no superior race here. Everybody is the same, but people have different conditions. Now, you're going to get at me and say, well, you know, black people aren't as educated. Yeah, motherfucker, you know, we just got books. It was illegal for black people to have books.
To read.
You know, so it's kind of like you can't start me at a race 300 years later and expect me to be on the same ground. Shit has been fucked up. So this is the world, United States we live in. This is the United States we all love, but it's got a lot of issues. And we all are trying to figure out a way it can be better for our kids. You know, I ain't no into separation. We're all here. We're all gonna have to figure this shit out and get it together. Now, that's the situation we're in. Now, take it globally. The world's shit's hectic every motherfucking where.
Yeah, every country, every state.
Everywhere. You got ISIS right now who's basically saying, okay, we're Muslim extremists and we're going to kill anybody who's not Christian, who's, you know, whatever. The bad thing for that is that makes all Muslims look bad. And that's not all Muslims. This is just this particular group of Muslims. Mm-hmm. So now that makes it easy for people to say, I hate all Muslims. You dig what I'm saying? So it's out of control right now. And I don't have all the answers. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this shit over to you guys. And what we call in the streets, you know, we call it building. That means let's exchange ideas to hopefully come up with a better solution. People, when this shit happens, people look to radicals. They look to people that, well, you know, let's go kill everybody and all that. You know, that gets the headlines. That gets all the bullshit. That's one of the reasons I didn't go to Ferguson. I was very tempted to go to Ferguson, but I said, what the fuck is going to happen if I go there? What am I going to really be able to do outside of go to jail? And I mean, right now in Chicago, kids are getting killed every weekend, like 50. It's like crazy.
Detroit as well, bro. So, I mean, basically, like you said, we have to come to a common ground that we can actually try to resolve some of these things. And protesting don't help, man. Protesting don't help. It really don't. It causes them guys in blue to act up a little bit more too. You see that they be the ones that's act up, and they not all bad police. I can't say every cop's a bad cop.
No, absolutely not.
That's bullshit.
Absolutely not.
There's a bunch of bad apples in that bunch, and it screws up, just like you said, in reference to the Muslims. You know, it's bad apples in there, so it makes all of us look bad. One bad apple can spoil a whole bunch for no goddamn reason. So why don't we open up the phone lines?
Yeah, let's see what y'all got to say about this. You know, I mean, sometimes Ice-T, even though y'all think I got all the answers, I don't have all the fucking answers. And a lot of the information I get is from reading and from other people that kind of come to me with their concepts and their theories, and it helps me understand things better. So I don't come off trying to say I'm an authority on all this shit. I'm just like you, trying to figure it out. I've been trying to do it for 30 years. Okay, so who's the first person on the line?
Hello?
Hey, what's up? This is Ice-T and Mick. What's happening, man? What's on your mind?
What's good? How you guys doing today?
Who is?
I'm from Chicago, and it's pretty crazy out here. And I do believe that we need younger boys and younger generations to take leadership. I think the younger people will listen to them more, and you know, be more positive influence on everybody else. And we can't do no protesting. It just gets more crazier, and people want to get all heated up, man. You know, start shooting at each other.
So what part of Chicago are you in, my brother? What part of Chicago are you in?
I'm from the west side, South Cape Town.
And you guys, I mean, I'm aware Chicago's been hectic. Like on an average weekend, a week, how many people are getting killed out there? How many kids?
Probably 25 to 30 kids.
Wow.
Damn. And that don't even make the news.
It doesn't, you know. It doesn't. But it's pretty crazy out here, and we need to stop. Especially still a lot of gangbangers around, which is not cool.
Do you have any idea of any solution, or what do you think people can do? What can happen?
Maybe they can sit down and talk to each other.
Well, you know what? I'm from gang culture. I'm from South Central Los Angeles, where, you know, Chicago has always had a very strong gang presence, in LA too. But you know, the difficulty when you're dealing with gangs is it really roots back down to poverty. And then it starts turning into drugs and economics, people trying to make money. And this is, you know, the criminal way to get paid. And, you know, the one thing about being a drug dealer, it doesn't require an application, you know. But in LA, we were able to bring the violence down. We had a truce out there, and we were able not to put a cap on it, but to bring it down tremendously just by the OGs, the real gangbangers saying, look, man, all this violence and kids getting killed and all that, I don't care how gangster you think that is, that ain't fly. Hey, but thank you for calling us, man, and my heart goes out to Chicago. It's crazy there. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay. Peace.
Ice.
Yeah, who is this?
What's up, Ice? This is Bomb. I'm over in West LA.
Okay, Bob, what's on your mind, man?
Man, I just want to kind of vent for a sec, man. This is, as someone who I'm 38 now. I grew up on your records, on KRS records. I've been kind of digging back into some of that stuff. And all these lines like, you were put here to protect us, but who protects us from you? Or, cops hate kids, kids hate cops kill kids with warning shots. What is crime, what is not, what's justice, I think I forgot. All this stuff that I was hearing that was blowing my mind as a teenager, early teenager, 87, 88, it's disturbing to me how much it is all still prevalent, relevant, and just, I feel like almost worse. I know you were saying earlier about, Obama being elected and everything. I'm almost feeling like that was a okey-doke. I feel like the backlash to that has been like heavier than any of it. I've seen more people just being outright racist amongst, white people in public than I ever saw under Bush or all this. I don't know. I'm just frustrated.
You might have a point. You might have a point because there is a backlash to, see, the thing of it is when you run for president, you split the country down the middle. Just even with the Democrats and the Republicans, so the minute you get in, you have half the country that hates you. Because
you start off with half hate.
You start off with half hate. Now, add that to a lot of people that are racist. This is the worst thing that could ever happen to them in their life. So now they're out to prove everything. I mean, I just was watching the other day, they're trying to impeach Obama. Like, he's about to leave. Like, that's like, you hate.
And the thing is, a lot of this stuff is even beyond Obama's pay grade. I mean, the bottom line is, it's all being controlled by, a increasingly shrinking number at the very top that controls all the money, that controls all the economy, and basically Democrat or Republican, they still got to do those people's bidding if they want to be in that office. Mm-hmm. And now I don't think it's going to get better in the inner city. They're treating our inner cities like like they're shanty towns, and it's not going to get better. They have this whole thing of combining. We got privatized military, and then privatized spending as far as defense. Privatized prisons. Right. And how else are they going to make money off that area where people don't have money than to prey on them like that? I mean, I grew up right next to Camden, New Jersey. I went to church there. I don't know if you know where that's at, right across from Philly. Yep. It's just a very depressed city, always has been. Well, since the 80s anyway. But I mean, they basically are going in there with some of the most high-tech stuff. They're going to have, infrared stuff that can tell you whether a kid 2 blocks away has a dime bag in his pocket. But meanwhile, these row homes haven't been repaired, or some of them even lived in decades. It's not about making that area better. It's about how are we going to squeeze this bad thing. And what the people that are taking a blind eye to it, are going to come to realize is once they're done with all the people in that area, they're going to be coming for you. That's just, that's what's going to happen.
Well, bro, what I think too is if we take block by block ourselves and try to make it better on that block, make the next block better.
I agree.
Because if we make block by block better, it gets better. If we continue to let blocks on other blocks do things, then it just goes out of chaos. If we say, come on, man, you got to calm that down. We trying to get everybody back together, all lives back together.
But
let's make this, go ahead.
At the end of the day, it's all money. Everybody needs money. Everybody needs money to live. Okay, let's break it down to the basic principle, Mick.
I agree, but
money.
It's increasingly harder for any other person,
to get money,
people to make a living.
Make money. Right.
But the money keeps increasing.
Okay.
The billionaires, when we were coming up, and before that were people like Henry Ford or Disney or guys that paid stuff. Now they're hedge fund managers, and all they do is play a 3-card Marley game with the insurance and the financial system, and we don't even know what they're doing.
Okay.
You would have to quit your job to read all through all that stuff to even figure out how you're getting fucked.
But see, that's the ultra rich. What I'm saying is survival is when it gets grimy. You see? So the basic level, if you don't have food, shelter, a place to live, some clothes, just you get scandalous. I got a song on my new record, I'm not plugging it, called Into the Dark Side, where it says survival makes you bloodthirsty. So let's just get to the core of the problem. Everybody needs money. The only way you're going to get money is with a job, and the only way you're going to get a good job is with education. These are your fundamentals when you step on earth, whether you for some reason you're going to school, you don't know why, but there's a reason they make you go to school, because they know if you don't have any education, you're not going to make any money. Follow me, Mickey?
That's true.
Okay, now, so it all basically boils down to education, and starting with public schools. I mean, public schools should be like universities. That's the core of the economy. If kids come out of high school and they can't read and write, they have no opportunity other than to go to the street. And then there comes the problem.
Hold on. In the 1960s, man, our parents didn't have high educations. But they still had this thing called the World Fair, which is the Warfare. That's the World's Fair. It's Warfare. Hold on. And we were able to knock on a neighbor's door and get a cup of sugar. It wasn't as violent as it is today.
No, it wasn't as violent. But then once again, you said they had welfare. Nobody wants to be on fucking welfare, Mickey. Welfare is the worst shit that can happen to you. It's something that happens when everything went wrong. Now, I'll tell you why schools suck. It's because the people that have money take their kids and put them in private school, because public school sucks. I did it. I put my son in a better school so he would have a chance. We gotta go back to the core, which is the public school system, and start it from the ground up and get it to where when you find, if you don't go to college, you still are capable of getting a job. Right now, public schools you barely can fill out an application if you came out of public schools, especially the inner city.
I know.
The inner city.
But this is what I'm saying. They're not going to put any money. They could put $1 billion and save East St. Louis or Camden or Newark. They could do that yesterday with the amount of money they throw away on war. 2 or 3 different wars overseas, but they're making money that way. They're not going to put that back. The people that need to cough that up, which is our government.
Our government is accustomed of helping other countries. They don't care about us. That's what it is, too.
That's what I'm saying. Mick, did you ever think we'd be borrowing money from the Chinese to go roll tanks through our own neighborhoods?
Chinese own the country, and all their kids are in school, and they're smart as fuck. The key is education, and it starts.
That's the cream of the crop that's coming over here to figure that part out yet, or like you guys came up in hard circumstances, but were like at a very high level of intelligence. We're talking about just the average person that just wants to work, do good, be a good person, get a regular job, being a mailman or whatever. Those things are all not available in these places.
I got you, and hence the problem. So what happens is you can't figure a way to make it. You turn to crime. You become the element. Next thing you know, you shooting at the other guy who has picked this same occupation. Now you look like the bad guy. The cops is out there trying to do their thing. They've labeled you savage, and they address you as such, and here we go.
Right.
And there's your problem.
I mean, it's not even just an individual conflict. It's systemic. You know what I mean? It's beyond. It's beyond the meathead cops that go out there and have some body armor on.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really know that they're a pawn in the game either.
United States, the thing of it is the United States can't reset because the old United States was fucked up. The United States needs, like, you know how they do a makeover on TV? United States needs, I believe it needs a new constitution too. Don't let me get started on that. I think it needs a new constitution, but it needs a reset. The question is, the people with the power to do the reset, do they truly want a reset? And there's your problem.
Exactly. They have a vested interest in that not happening.
Exactly.
And when we're still running on oil, we have enough to clone sheep. You know, we have technology to clone people probably, and we can't find a way to run cars without gas. That's just the money for it. It has a vested interest in that progress not being made.
But check this out, man. You're as confused as we are, but until people like yourself sit down and we try to come up with some solutions to help everybody, then nobody's gonna be all right. You dig it? All right, thanks. Okay, before we get to the next call, let's talk about Audible.
As I mentioned earlier, my Dungeons and Dragons audiobook is out now for free on audible.com. It's called The Legend of Drizzt. That's some crazy stuff, worth all the hype, and it'll blow your mind. You've never heard an epic fantasy tale like this, especially spoken by me, about Pegasi and swords that talk in people's heads. Not to mention, for a portion of the book, the characters are voiced entirely by yours truly, Ice-T. I even had to do some of the female characters, so you know this is going to be crazy, right? After the podcast, go straight to audible.com/Ice-T and check it out. Audible is the world's leading provider in audiobooks with over 150,000 titles to choose from. For a free audiobook and a 30-day trial, go to audible.com/Ice-T. That's audible.com/ICET. You'll be saving money and helping to keep the podcast free. Thanks again to Audible.
Who's on the line?
Hey, this is Tracy.
Hey, Trey, where you calling from?
St. Louis.
St. Louis. Oh, wow. So talk to us, man. What's on your mind, Trey?
I first, let me get it out there that I am a white woman, part of the GLBT community. I'm also from Mississippi. I grew up in a very racist area, as you can imagine. And there's always been something in my gut that just ate at me as a kid. And I was like, this isn't right. And, I tell you when things really came to a head for me was when the third trial for the murderer of Medgar Evers came up in the late 80s. And, I started seeing justice finally being done for these individuals who were shot for one reason and one reason only. They were black. And I don't get I don't get a lot of people in my race that, and even in the GLBT community, I've heard so much this week, people posting on their Twitter and Facebook on, do these protesters not have jobs, or must be nice to be on welfare, and, making all these stereotypes that are killing us. It's killing, the stereotyping, this time, a little over 2 weeks ago, I would never I never would have thought I would be on the ground in Ferguson. And I tell you, I've been going down trying to help and donate and do all I can to, help individuals there. But the main thing I've been doing, and I think you referred to this with the young man from Chicago that called in, that I just think it was right on the money, is that we've got to talk. People got to sit down, and I've had some conversations this week that I've become friends now. We've talked every single day or seen each other, met up in Ferguson, and she point blank told me, I don't like white people.
You know what it is? At the end of the day, if you got any degree of intelligence, like obviously you do, racism is stupid. it's just stupid. You just can't necessarily look at somebody and make a snap judgment of who they are. You know, you can't do that. So it's stupid. It's a sign of ignorance. You know, I can't look at anybody and go, oh, he's wrong, or he's that, or this is how he feels. You know, I always use the term, I judge a devil by his deeds. You know, I don't really care what you look like.
Maybe we need more platforms where we're interacting together more so than just one platform where you see a show with just a black talker and just a white talker. Let's interact a little bit more. Maybe it can actually start to change something.
It's what's been happening. I mean, it's been unreal, the number of conversations I've been able to have, and people are like, damn, you know, you come from where you come from, and you can change, and I can change. You know, I can change my mindset on, you know, not all white people suck. A lot of us do, but there's a lot of us that, you know, I have a 4-year-old nephew and a 10-year-old niece that I want to change their world. I want to make sure that by the time they get my age, I want this to be a non-issue.
You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. As far as I'm concerned. It's just like, you know, if you want to get somebody mad about racism, tell them it doesn't exist. First, you just admit it exists. Okay. But everybody ain't racist. Like, that's just not it. Every black person ain't white. So you have to judge each person by their character. Racists don't do that. They just look at you and they don't like you, and that's ignorant. I can't put it any other way. It's just stupid. You know, you can't say, oh, well, this guy, he's Arab, so he wants to kill the United. No, the nigga might be a hip hop fan. You don't know what's in people's minds. And you know, me coming from the hood where it's easy to fall into these traps, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't have it. You have to learn out of that too. You have to learn. You have to go around and, you know, meet white kids that are just down, will die for you, so to speak. You know, you got to meet people. And that's the one thing I've done with my guys, is I take them around the world. But once you get the media in and they can portray people all one way, and then ignorant people fall in. You know, if all I watched was, you know, what's the show I watched? The swamp dudes down in Mississippi, swamp people.
Right.
If all I watched was swamp people, I would think white people can't talk. You know what I'm saying? But the swamp motherfuckers is crazy as a motherfucker. But that's just the swamp guys. That's how they get down. I ain't mad at them. They jumping in the water after alligators. You know? So you have to understand the world is made up of a bunch of different people. Hey, you know what? But thank you for your call. Stay strong in Ferguson. Stay strong in St. Louis. You know, this is just one bad situation that echoes hundreds of them.
Can I just say that I've been a huge fan of yours from the beginning and from way back. And I mean, if you had, you know, if you would look at me, you would think, But I've been a big fan. I believe in what you preach. You stand by what you preach, and I really appreciate that. And I appreciate you taking my call.
Hey, you know what? That's one thing I learned, and I had to learn firsthand. I can never put a finger on one of my fans. I would think, you think, and man, like the oldest lady walking down the street with a walker would be like, Ice-T, that's my man right there, and take and snatch her granddaughter and shake her and tell her about me, and you just don't know. And that's another lesson I learned. We're all growing. All of us humans are growing. And a lot of things you thought today, tomorrow, you'll be like, wow, I was stupid. That's what life is. Okay, thank you very much for calling. Hey, what's up? This is Ice-T. You calling Final Level Podcast. This is the People Talks Day. What's on your mind?
Hey, hi, Ice.
Who are you? Where you at?
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm in Chirk, which is a little village in Wales in the UK.
Wow, international. Look, I told you, Mickey, we ain't just in the hood.
Hey, we all over, baby. They feeling it.
That's what's up. So what's going on in Wales? What's on your mind over there? This should be good.
Oh, well, I've been listening to your previous callers, and there's a couple of things I want to bring up. I want to put something into perspective for you. It's been all over the news here about all the riots in Missouri, but the media, when like shit kicks off in the US over there like this, they always blame the gun laws and the right to bear arms, and say, oh, it wouldn't happen if the laws were the same as it is in the UK. What do you, Mick, think that if, your constitution was changed and, your right to bear arms was taken away, do you really think that all this would stop, or would it not?
Oh, well, my theory on the right to bear, first, I'm not into the Constitution. I'm not into the Constitution. I think there needs to be a Constitution change, because if you really look at the Constitution, in the Constitution, it also says you can own black people. So, and all these guys signed the Constitution. So, to me, the Constitution is void. It's like, if you thought that was okay, then all of y'all were obviously insane. So, it's void. But let's go to the right to bear arms. My attitude about guns is I don't need one if nobody else got one. You follow me? So if I'm in England and y'all ain't got one, God bless the fact y'all don't have guns over there. And it's a great thing. And I wouldn't say bring them. I would say keep them away and keep it like it is. The problem is the United States is infested with weapons. There's no way you can get them. Them shits is in our culture. It's deeply embedded. And if you read the Constitution, it says that, we have the right to own our own militia. Every state has the right to have their own militia. And basically, the right to bear arms is to protect yourself against tyranny. And tyranny is when the cops become the enemy. So the Constitution was written to protect us from government, because after the Revolutionary War, we were worried about government having too much control. So to answer your question, yes, if there was no guns in the United States, there'd be less gun murders. That's simple. But this shit is infested with guns. It's millions and millions and millions of firearms. So if they go out and say, we're going to take the guns away, who are they going to take them from? You know what I'm saying?
They're not going to take them from the cops.
They're not taking them from the cops. They're not taking them from the motherfuckers that have the fucking arsenals. They're going to take them from just kids in the streets and all that old bullshit. And like I always said, with gun laws, criminals don't even deal with gun laws anyway. They're criminals. So laws don't have anything. They're not in their zone. They just get down. They do what they got to do. So keep the guns out of your country if possible. I don't think they help, unless you guys are worried about the cops. Then you might want to get armed up.
Hey, I went to its body count over here to the UK as well. I've been a fan since you first started, and I'm just dying to see you over here. So any chance of you guys coming across?
A great chance. We put out the new album as a test. We wanted to see if people still had an ear for body count. We did a big summer tour. We blew out 38 cities. Everybody loves us. So, we're definitely back. I just got off the phone talking about making a new record, something poignant about what's going on right now. And we hopefully maybe next summer we'll be over there. I still got a day job on Law and Order, so next summer we'll tour the UK and Europe and, give y'all a little taste.
That'll be good. Remember as well, not just London, come to North Wales. We'd love to see you up here. Okay,
North Wales. That's right. Y'all get real particular. You better not call Wales London. You better not call, worst thing you do is call Britain Europe. That's not. All right, thank you, man. Thank you for calling in.
Thanks, Ice. Thanks, Mick. Keep up the great work. You've got a great podcast.
Thank you very much. Okay, this is Final Level Podcast number 16, and we're letting the people talk today because shit is going down. What's on your mind? Who's this?
Hey, this is Moises. I'm in Austin, Texas.
Okay, Austin, Texas. We just came from Texas. What's on your mind, man?
Growing up multiracial myself. My dad's dad was Cantonese. His mom was Afro-Latino Cuban. My mom's white Western European. It was a big deal to have our first black president. It was a big deal for me to have our first multiracial president too. And growing up, the experience I had, and that I think we're seeing with everything that's playing out right now, is that everybody is obsessed with sorting people into boxes. That you're this type of person and you behave this way, and this is the way that we can stereotype you, and this is how people should be perceived.
And that and not cutting you off, but that's the definition of prejudice. Prejudice is to prejudge. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And the thing that drives me crazy is this question of what box do I check, and what is normal, and who is defining normal for me. And the thing that just makes me have to disconnect from so much of this stuff so often is that it feels like everybody has to work in absolutes. It's you're with us or you're against us. Different sides of the political spectrum think that there is some sort of absolute good. And even though I definitely fall on the left side of things, I don't think that everybody on the left side of things conducts themselves in the way that actually productively gets stuff done. Because we're always worried about whose fault everything is. So we live in this culture of paperwork, which paperwork in particular, hot topic over the last couple days, so that people can avoid blame. They can say, no, well, the thing that's in this file over here, or this thing that I didn't put in this file over here, that means that, sorry, you can't get anything on me.
All right, but look, let me break it down for you. I'll break it down. This is your problem, and this is the world problem, and this is a human problem. Everybody's trying to be happy, okay? But my happiness infringes on your happiness. Your religion infringes on my religion. So all of us want to be happy. Like, I want to play my music loud, but my neighbor, he don't like it loud. My man wants to speed, but they say the speed limit's 55. And no one likes to be controlled or told what to do. So what you got is a bunch of people on this earth that want to be happy, but everyone's happiness infringes on somebody else's happiness. So no, it's practically impossible to get peace, because everybody wants, people that want to get high, and they're like, well, why can't we get high? It's our body. And that's a great point. If you want to get high, why can't you get high? But there's people that saying drugs are wrong. So you got all these different people in search of happiness. Unfortunate thing, to a serial killer, happiness is killing motherfuckers, right? So everyone's happiness crosses boundaries. Now, this is what humans do. We get in comfort bubbles. We find people that we agree with, and we create a bubble. So if I play chess, I hang out with people that play chess, but then my chess players may not smoke weed. So now I got another bubble of my weed smokers over here. But since I don't smoke weed, I like horror movies, I go to the horror movie people. But even if you notice in your life, you have to move from bubble to bubble just to be you, because all your friends don't like everything you do. So the world is fucked from the jump. It's like, because everyone wants to be happy. No one, it's not that people are mean, it's just that this is happiness to them. Even if we go to the extremists, these cats, ISIS, their belief is that if everyone was Muslim, the world would be better. And we're gonna kill everybody that doesn't agree with us. But that's a weird form of their happiness. Makes them happy. So this shit is crazy from the ground up, baby. And what do we do? What do you do? I'm giving that to you now.
I think a lot of the aggression that people have been acting out from every side of everything that's going on, a lot of it is that we're unconsciously or subconsciously or very consciously, we're manufacturing fear to fight in the face of our own fear of somebody rolling over us and making us do what they want to do, and there's this lashing out. But the thing that But you don't think that has to do with money too? Don't you think people make money off of fear? Oh man, I wish I had stock in the fear industry. Let me tell you, because that is a comfortable living. And there's money in manufacturing fear around Ferguson, where there's this whole narrative of all these rowdy, violent protesters that don't exist. The real protesters, the ones that are peaceably assembling, are the ones that are pushing the violent people that are coming in from out of state, the white supremacists that want to push their own agenda. They're pushing those people away. And the thing that drives me absolutely crazy is that the concept of mainstream media that we have right now, the outlets that represent that, like none of them are reporting that, and it's literally up to which social network has the best breakthrough when it comes to people getting photos and video.
Well, if you want to see the worst shit, right now, just watch Fox News. Fox News spins shit so bad I can't even watch it. And I was watching it the other day, and they had a black dude on there. They found a black dude that hated black people. And they love when they find a black person that hates black people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it's just crazy. But see, right now, if the press can't spin it, they don't report it. They need to spin things. A good story isn't good without a spin or a twist. So we're in a very crazy world right now, and the internet allows a lot of information to go, but it also allows a lot of hate to move back and forth with too. And I mean, I have a Twitter page, and if you listen to the stuff, see people write me, like, it's like motherfuckers is walking around in hoods, like right now. Like it's
man, I've been a follower since day one.
And you've read some of the shit I've retweeted.
Oh yeah, I've seen all kinds of shit, and sometimes I'll just when you put something out there, I'll look at the conversation thread to see what crazy fucking idiots just come out of the woodwork to come up with some brand of crazy that I just can't wrap my head around.
Well, people like conflict, like the other day, off topic, this ice bucket shit. Okay, I got it. I understand it's for ALS. I understand it. It's stupid to me. Now, me giving up some money, I respect that. We sent some money in. We didn't send in $100. We sent in more than that. Okay, I got people. I say, yo, send some money to this. This is a good thing. I wasn't aware of it, but cool. But I'm not putting a fucking bucket on my head, man. That's stupid. I don't do goofy shit. I'm not. Now, well, Dr. Dre did. Well, you know what my mama used to say? If your buddy jumped off a bridge, you gonna do it. So my thing is that I ain't gonna do it. That don't mean you ain't gotta do it. I just ain't gonna do it. People spun it. Oh, you're against charity. Did I say that? I did not say I was against charity. I said I think putting a bucket of ice on your head is stupid. Normally it is.
Unless it's 110 degrees outside.
Normally it is. That's why people are doing it. So what it is people figure do something goofy. It attracts attention. And I get it. But people twisted me into being a hater of the fucking... And that's what they want. They want to fight over some dumb shit. I'm not against... That's not what it's about. Listen to what the fuck I'm saying, and don't try to twist it into some dumb shit. If that's what you choose to do, a lot of my friends did it. But just because you challenge me to do some shit doesn't mean I'm gonna do it. I don't have to go along with your fads or your trends. I'll send 10 times the amount of money you want, and we'll call it a day. And then I also think that a lot of celebrities are doing the bucket challenge and ain't sending no money. The real reason is you give the bucket not to give the money. You do the challenge or you don't. So it's just a lot of these people just want to be on video and be seen and shit. And if Oprah did it, since Oprah is fucking God, you got to do it.
Oh yeah. A friend of mine sent me one of these. Patrick Stewart did it, but he didn't pour the bucket of ice over his head. He pulls out his checkbook, and you see him writing a check, and then he pulls over an ice bucket, puts a couple ice cubes in a glass, pours himself some whiskey, takes a drink from the glass, toasts you, and the video's over.
But my thing is this: if write the check, you ain't even got to make the video. Just write the check. Do you need the publicity that you giving away money? That, you know what I'm saying? I give money away every year. You never know who I give it to. I'm not gonna stand in front of nobody's place with a big ass check. That's corny to me. That's not from the heart. That's publicity. That's my opinion. Period. Oh yeah, but look, let me get to the next caller. Can I get to the next caller?
Thank you so much. Just real quick, I'm a podcaster too, man. And,
shit!
And I've been loving the show since the very beginning. I do my shows at esn.fm.
Whoa.
I have one called Thank You.
Let me plug your podcast then. What's your podcast? Say it so everyone can hear it.
Cool. So the main show is called Electric Shadow. It's about movies and TV and the way that media is changing. And then I do one about comic books called Giant Size that's geared toward making comic books easier for people to get into. So you want to get into Frank Miller? Here, get into Frank Miller. You want to get into Bernie Wrightson and Swamp Thing? Get into this.
That's dope.
And then Thank You for Calling is one that I do about customer service. And then a couple of friends of mine do one where they're going through and watching Twin Peaks, where one of them's seen it and the other one hasn't. And they're looking at it now that it's been restored and all this stuff. But all of them are at esn.fm and in iTunes and everything.
Cool. Have you checked out the Combat Jack podcast?
I can't say that I have, but I am.
Okay, that's
right now because I've got orders from General Ice-T.
Yeah, check out Combat Jack. He's going to be a guest on the next show. He's a good friend of ours, and his if you like what we doing here, it's what we doing, but it's really wrapped around hip hop and the culture and people that are, you know, apparently stars or think they stars or whatever should be stars. It's the Combat Jack Show. They don't let up. You know, he's going to be a guest on the next podcast, so check that out.
Well, thank you so much, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say, sir, OG is a fucking masterpiece.
Thank you. Before I take this next call, let me tell you about Squarespace.
Now, guys, I just heard from my homie Jamie Jasta, and he used Squarespace to rebuild JamieJasta.com. If you don't know who Jamie Jasta is, he's the legendary lead singer of the world's famous band Hatebreed and former host of Headbangers Ball, and now he recently started a dope podcast too. His new website looks dope. It's cleaner and far more friendly than his old site. You can buy tickets for Hatebreed shows right off the site, listen to his podcast there too, and sign up for his mailing list, and also get sponsorship information for his podcast right off the site, just like IceTFinalLevel.com. Jamie has sold hundreds of thousands of records. I've sold over 28 million records, and we need top-level websites that meet our level of professionalism. Squarespace looks great. It's easy for us to build with no coding experience, simple to maintain, never crashes, and Squarespace even has support available 24/7 in case you ever do run into any problems. That's the business. For a free trial with no credit card required, just go to squarespace.com. When you're blown away and ready to confirm a plan, use the offer code ICE to get 10% off. You'll be getting a great deal, supporting a podcast, and helping to keep it free. That's squarespace.com. SQUARESPACE.com, offer code ICE. Also, don't forget to send your Squarespace site to iceandmick@gmail, and we might even talk about it on the show. That's ICEANDMICK@gmail.com. That's Squarespace, offer code ICE.
Hey, okay, who's on the line? This is Ice-T and Mick Benzo, Final Level Podcast. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, what's up? This is Brittany from Tokyo, Japan.
So look, you're in Tokyo. What's on your mind in Tokyo? You know, because people over here, we got all this stuff on our mind. I wonder what's on your mind in Tokyo. What's happening?
Well, for one, you know, I follow your tweets, and the one that struck me was, if you want to get an advantage, talk to an older person.
Yeah. Their brain.
And get all this advantage. As South American, I'm from the States. The Ferguson thing is on my mind too.
Yeah.
Like that's been affecting me. Like, I'm a black woman as well. And here in Tokyo, we don't have guns. We don't believe in guns, and the cops are super friendly. They bow to you. You can come up to them, and they don't have guns here. So
they got a respect thing going over there. You know, it's interesting though. Like, let me backtrack on what you said. You read one of my tweets where I said, you know, daily game. If you want to get an advantage, get with someone older and drain their brain. That's very simple knowledge that, you know, if you can get around an older person that's been through some stuff, they can give you an advantage because, you know, it's just like a father to a child, you know. And I always say, you don't You know, stupid people learn from experience. Smart people learn from other people's experiences. So any chance you can get with someone older, sit there and be quiet and let them tell you about life, and it will give you an advantage. Now, let's flip back to Ferguson. The cops in Japan don't have guns, and they treat you with respect. Well, trip off this. When I came to New York from LA, New York cops seem like that to me because New York cops are like 10 times less aggressive than LA cops. So like I'm walking around, New York cops are like, hey, how you doing? They're standing on the beat. They talk to you. Some of them got pop bellies and dreads. And where in LA, when they get out of that car, they're in motion because cops don't walk the beat in LA. So whenever they come out that car, it's for a reason. And they got their vests on. They all think they're actors. They're all in shape. And it's never a good thing. So when I got out here, the cops were totally different. So now you're telling me in Japan they bow to you?
Yes, one time, I had a cop knock on my door one time, and at first I was a little skeptical, but then he told me, and I also speak Japanese too. So then he told me that, he wanted to check around the neighborhood to make sure that I'm safe. And if anything happens, I could come over to the police station. And they usually register people to make sure that they're safe, and to make sure that they're safe and that they're in their neighborhood.
Let me ask you a question.
To protect that certain neighborhood.
Let me ask you a question, though. This is interesting to me because I'm a international world traveler myself, and I'm saying that with a laugh. Racism is different everywhere. How do they look at black people in Japan?
They really love black people over here. They really do. They really love the hip-hop scene. They think it's really, really cool. And they have hip-hop dance classes. And they actually do want to be friends with us, but some of them are really, really shy. But I can walk around with a hoodie and a sweatshirt and I wouldn't be bothered. They love us. They love us here. And Japanese guys, they love black women over here, too.
Now, let me ask you a question. Now, is there racism there? Is there somebody that they don't like?
Well, there isn't racism. It's more about Japanese kind of against non-Japanese people. That's the type of discrimination. Like with us foreigners, with us Western non-Japanese people, we could get away with certain things because it's not expected. Because they don't expect it from us. But sometimes, of course there's special treatment. Like sometimes, I have a boss, and sometimes he'll be easier on me because I'm the foreigner. But with other Japanese people, he'll be kind of like a little bit more stricter and harsher because that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Or sometimes Japanese people may have to work, almost always have to work longer than the foreigners because it's expected.
Wow. You know what's interesting? You know what was interesting to me traveling around the world? It's like, as far as being a black American, a lot of countries don't hold me accountable to American politics. So they might have a disagreement with the American politics, but then because I'm a black American, they like, that ain't your fault. They don't hold me accountable to the government. You follow what I'm saying? They like,
yeah.
They say, well, it ain't you, but they got a problem maybe with white people that come from the United States. They feel like, okay, y'all are the ones that, but they don't, it's crazy that, black people get love every place but here. And it's only certain people here that got that bullshit still going. But it's wonderful. I need to come to Japan. I got to go back out there on tour because, I like how everybody bows to everybody and it's fly out there. Well, thank you for calling.
Oh, one more thing. Well, a couple more things. Japan, we love Obama. They made Obama dolls. They love Obama. And also, I made a group called Tokyo Connections because when I was out in Tokyo, I didn't know anything or know anybody, but it's a group called Tokyo Connections, and it gives people support, and I give people advice on what to do in Tokyo, the events to see, the type of jobs to get, and all sorts of stuff. So it's really helpful.
So if you come there, so how do you find Tokyo Connection?
Oh, you can find it on Facebook. Just type in Tokyo Connections on the Facebook search button, and you should be able to add yourself in.
Okay, well,
It's a Facebook.
so when we go back there, we gonna check in with you, and you gonna have to show us how it's done. You feel me? Plus, you speak Japanese, so we need that hookup.
Yes, please come to Tokyo.
All right, that's beautiful. Thanks for calling in.
All right, thank you.
Hey, yo, up. This is Ice-T. This is podcast number 16. We letting the people talk. Who is this?
This is John from Atlanta. What's up?
What's up, man? What's happening? What's on your mind?
I wanted to talk to you about hardcore and the progression of body count and the way it's going.
Okay. Good topic.
I heard you in Atlanta at Mayhem Fest, and you said that people classify body count as a metal band, a grindcore band, a New York hardcore band. What New York hardcore bands influenced body count as a whole as far as the progression of their music?
I think they call it New York hardcore because if you listen to stuff like Biohazard, is Sick of It All, it's kind of like guitars, but the lyrics are kind of spit out kind of like rap. You know what I'm saying? Madball, groups like that. But I hadn't even heard those groups before I started Body Count. So it just so happens that New York hardcore has a similar feel as Body Count. You understand? So when I created Body Count, I started from an empty slate. I liked Slayer. I was into Slayer because Glenn Friedman, who worked with me early, was a good friend with Rick Rubin, and he turned me on to that band, and I just dug it. And then I was into Black Sabbath because that was one of the first rock records I had, and I just wanted to kind of mesh the speed and the sound together, but then talk about shit I was familiar with, which was the streets and street life and issues. So I tried to merge all those three together to create a unique sound. Now, of course, my unique sound sounds like other shit, and that's why they try to put us into these categories. And I think categories hinder the music. You know, I think Talk Shit Get Shot should be getting played on hip-hop stations, you know, but because it's guitars, they won't play it. But I'm rapping in it, and it's hardcore. But, you know, that's, you know, I think if you're a band, I think you should just make your music, and whatever category you fall in, so be it.
So with that being said, a lot of the hardcore roots and stuff like that, you know, starts in small venues, and you know, the video for Cop Killer, you see a lot of people diving and going crazy. You know, it was alive. You know, it's like a really big punk scene. It seems like something that's really been lost in, you know, modern day hardcore and modern day punk. Would you guys, as Body Count as a whole, ever go on tour, as in small venues with no barricades, and let people go buck wild one more time?
Well, you know, it's crazy, right? After the Lamb of God situation, that no barricade thing doesn't work, you know, because people are getting seriously hurt. You know, I'm good friends with Randy, so you gotta kind of limit it. I mean, our first tour we went out with DRI and Exodus, so can't get much more punk than DRI. But I think that, to me, hip-hop has always been punk, and it has always been hardcore to me. Once you say, fuck what you're going through, this is how I feel, it's rock. You know, and even with rap, we don't R&B the mic, we rock the mic, we rock the house, we rock shit. So rock is attitude, rock is fuck how you feel, and this is how I'm feeling. You dig? All those categories, they just help to isolate fans from each other, which you don't really need. You know, if you just said this is music, do you like it or not? You know, that's what I'm about. I'll listen to shit and I'll say, well, it sounds like this, it sounds like that, but the shit is good. And if you listen to like Slayer and you listen to the lyrical delivery, it's like rap. They're not singing, you know? So, you know, if you listen to Subterranean Homesick Blues by, you know, back in the day, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't singing. Bob Dylan wasn't singing, he was rapping. Or Johnny Cash, shit's rap. I mean, it's like, fuck the categories, just music. You gotta start with an empty slate as an artist. You gotta be like, I don't know what we are, we're just gonna be dope. And, you know, you drop the beats, and if it sounds good to you, then that's your music, man. When you start trying to fit into categories, it gets real bizarre. Okay?
Hey, yeah, thanks for entertaining me tonight, man.
All right, my man, take care. All right, who's on the line? This is Ice-T and Mick Benzo.
All right, cool. It's Pipper from Dallas.
Pipper, my super fan.
That's Pipper.
How you doing? You made it in, Pipper. How you doing?
I am doing great. And first of all, I do have a serious discussion. But first of all, I got to say, seeing you in Dallas was the best. Meeting you, even though I said some stupid shit, was great. I had like the third best time of my life at Mayhem Fest.
Well, you know what? It's cool, though. You know, people on Twitter, you know, I got almost 500,000 people on there, but some people you notice on there, and you always comment, and I know your name, and you've called. And so it was funny when I saw you at the show, and you like, this is Pipper. I'm like, okay, bam. Got to show us some love. Tell them what we did. Mickey, you wasn't there. What happened when I saw you?
What happened, Tipper?
Pipper.
What happened? So, first of all, I was front row for a body count. I was rocking it. It was great. I got great pictures. So, my friend got sick. So, we, left the building. We, totally left. We were in a corner where we were, totally out of the arena. And all of a sudden, I see Ice-T and Coco driving around on a golf cart. And I was like, hey, Coco lady. And he did a U-turn. I was like, I was gone.
I seen her in the parking lot, you know what I'm saying? And we busted a U-turn. I told Coco, I said, that's Pipper. She's one of my final level followers on Twitter. And we stopped and we took some pictures. And that was real love. And that's how it happens. You know, that's how it happens. People don't know that sometimes this fan stuff becomes real. So what's on your mind, Pipper? Speak on it, because I know you're very opinionated.
Yeah, so here's the deal. So from 94 to, 97-ish. So first of all, my dad is a full-blooded Cherokee. My mom's white. And from 94 to 97, my main man was a black guy. And we had racism. I mean, we got stares. We didn't get served at restaurants. I mean, it was horrible. And now I'm with a Japanese Mexican, so you can say I'm international. And we still get the same stuff sometimes. And I was just curious. I mean, you and Coco, you're a famous couple, so I was wondering, Chef Leela, if you guys, still get the same stuff even at your set.
I mean, not really. You know, I mean, we live in New York City, so that's a good thing. You know, if we lived in a small town, it might be different. But in New York, pretty much everything goes. You know, everybody here, it's really melting pot for stuff. You know what I'm saying? I always say that, the comments will come from the person that's deprived. So if we're going to have a problem, the white girls won't say anything because they don't mind being with black guys, but the white guy will say something, you know, because he's deprived. Right. I got the playmate, right? So he's deprived. The funniest thing I ever heard was one night where we were coming out of a restaurant and a white man in Dockers was like, I guess I got to learn how to rap. So he was just a good old hater, and that was just his little comment. And then, you know, I had one time we were in Harlem, and a couple of sisters, they saw Coco walking in Harlem, and they didn't realize who she was with. And one of the sisters was like, oh, look, white girls all up in Harlem now. And then one of the girls recognized me, and she like, oh shit, bitch, that's Ice-T. You know that nigga don't give a fuck. He will knock the shit out of you. And then the girl's like, oh no, that's Coco. I love Coco. And then the whole shit flipped. So, you know, people still on that bullshit, but we don't let it get to us, because honestly, like I say, it's 99% love. Well, I'll say 99.9% love face to face. But all that hate happens on the internet where people are hiding, and we all know they cowards. But like I said, I cannot even remember when I've ever had any man walk up to me in my face and say something disrespectful to my face. And in my whole life, it just doesn't happen. Motherfuckers will say it when you pass them, or in the cut, overhear them, but never just that straight confrontation, walk up on you, say, "You's a motherfucking sucker, I hate you." None of that. It never happens. It never happens.
That's good. Yeah. We've never gotten that bad, but I mean, we don't live in the hood, but it ain't good. And for some of the other colors, we're not giving up our guns. We're keeping them.
That's
It'll
right.
Be guns forever.
Yeah. Hey, well, you know what? Like my mother told me early when I was growing up, people are stupid. And, you know, we can't fall prey to stupid people. We got to be strong and love whoever you love. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I tell people, I said, you know, Coco's really the first white girl I ever really been with. I fell in love with her. We've been married 14 years, and I love her to death. You dig what I'm saying? But it just so happened that it was Coco. If I had ran into a Martian chick, then, you know, I'd be with a green bitch right now. You know, that's just how it happened. You know, I didn't expect it, but love is love. You dig?
Yeah, I got it. Hey, I love you. I love Coco Lady. Hey, Benzo, I even like you.
Yeah, all my boys love Coco. They like Coco. It's funny. I was at a players bar one time, and my buddy Al P was told they gave Coco an award because they said, we know Coco, we love Coco because we know as long as Ice with Coco, he ain't going to jail.
You got to keep that.
That's right. I'm going to keep that. She saved my life. She keeps me indoors playing Xbox. So that's what's up. Thanks, Pipper. Last caller. Who are you?
Hey, this is Joshua. What's up, Ike?
Where are you, Josh?
Up in Sonoma County, in the North Bay.
In the North Bay. Well, this is the People Talk segment on this podcast, and it's all about you. So you're my final caller. What's on your mind?
I'm going to say thank you for not drinking the water bucket.
Thank you for not doing the water challenge. Is that what you said?
Thank you for not drinking the water bucket. And that might be the perfect last note.
But that's what it is. Now you go out and move something, baby. All right?
I will say it. God bless you.
God bless you. So, Mick, let the people talk.
Basically, people need a platform to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And on the Final Level podcast, what we do is we're going to do this a little more often. You know
Yeah,
why?
I mean, honestly.
No. It makes sense. Again, they hear Mick, they hear Ice-T. It was finally a chance to hear them talk about the issues that is going on from different countries as well, not just the States. So it's important to give people a platform.
Well, you know what? I always let the people make the decisions. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to make a record and the people don't want it, I'm not making no more records. I ain't doing this shit to hear myself talk. I could do that in the bathroom. You dig? So if people like what I'm doing, I'll do it again. So what we'll do is we'll wait and see how people receive this episode. Mm-hmm. And if they like it, we could do this once a month. So Mick, Benzo, and Ice-T, we up out of here. And listen, finally, Let's try to get this shit together, man. We know the country's in a fucking turmoil. We don't want to go to war. It ain't about fighting each other. It's about figuring this shit out and trying to make it better.
Remember, tell a friend to tell a friend. Final Level Podcast has done it again. Number 16. Guess what, Ice? I'm out of here.
Like I stole something.
That's how I'm living. 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 That's how I'm living.